Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube tech guy, and today's tech rant is about the new iPhones and how they are completely BS. They are lying to you. They are trying to deceive you by keeping things like, oh, don't worry about this. And I mean, just what the Okay, let's get down to it. All right, I'm gonna break this down into three things that really upset me about the keynote today. And the first one has to be, I felt it was very, very boring because Apple really didn't change almost anything. I mean, especially if you consider the 10 to the 10s. If you currently own a 10 right now, there is no reason to upgrade to the 10s. Don't waste your money. If you want to upgrade to the 10s Max, great, do it. But if you own a 10, there's no reason to upgrade to the 10s. There is such a minimal difference that is insane. Just based off of, like, any YouTuber that doesn't comment on this after they comment on things like the Note 9 and other phones that didn't change much. This didn't change. This did the bare minimum between the 10 and the 10s. So first thing I do want to point out in this is that in the live stream, I did go on and on about it's the same exact camera, because even the aperture was the same, megapixel was the same. However, I did not notice that, besides their AI functionality and detecting better HDR and all that crap, you did get a bigger sensor. So it is 1.4 now instead of 1.2. So the bigger sensor should let in better quality. By the way, this is just getting to the same level as other smartphones have, if not even better, on other smartphones. So it is getting on par with other smartphones. As we saw, the Note 9 versus the iPhone 10 in the side-by-side camera comparison, the extreme camera comparison, we really put it through the worst shots they could go through. The Note 9 beat the iPhone 10 handedly. We will test this out. We are getting, of course, the Max one, so we are going to test them out. Subscribe to see that side-by-side comparison to see if the iPhone really steps up. But I really have my doubts, especially in the low light functionality, since the aperture didn't get any better at all. And the aperture didn't get better, that's important for later. So that's the first thing, is just like, it was such a minimal improvement. Now, I will give kudos to Apple in terms of having the innovation of a 7nm processor. That is innovative. But that was their entire presentation. It was like every single time they kept going back to the A12 Bionic processor because of its newfound power in being Bionic. I have a hint to you, Apple. None of your users give a crap about that. I like it. I'm a techie user, but then again, I'm not your demographic. So that's my biggest thing, is that there's really no new features from the iPhone 10 to the iPhone 10s. Now, the second thing that really upset me is, oh my God, Apple is straight up lying to their customers. I mean this. They are lying. Like, please, some legal team get on this and start just like sue them so that they just change this part of the software, because it is a literal lie. Your aperture is f1.8. Therefore, your photo, your bokeh effect cannot be f1.4. You cannot do it. It is not. It is software blurring the background. I know you want to make yourself cool and kind of like show off this thing and you're blurring the background. That is not what you're doing. It is not f1.4. It is not. That is not how software works. It is software, not camera. Like, I mean, I cannot believe they actually had the gall to put this on there, because it is a straight up lie. I know they want to appeal to the professional camera photographers, but there are way better photographers than me that know so much more about this stuff than me, and I know that they would completely like, yeah, that's completely BS. I cannot believe that they are putting that. They can just put, far distance, they can put, whatever they want to put, but they cannot put f1.4, because that cannot be done with their camera. You cannot get that kind of blur with an aperture of f1.8 in your camera. It cannot be done. Now, f1.4 would be better, like this phone that has a f1.5, like the Huawei P20 Pro that has an f1.5. They can get better blur than Apple. And yes, since like last year, you've been able to undo the blur, fine tune it exactly the way you want it, and they just said blur, not blur, because that makes sense. Now Apple was trying to be Apple and be those fine aesthetics and those fine tweaks, but this is a straight up lie. So that just really pisses me off, because it is a straight up lie. Apple, you need to change this immediately, because it's not okay. It's not okay. Because if you honestly make people believe this is real, it's not. And the third big thing that Apple really upset me with in this day and age is that they have the audacity to cheapen their customers so much to make a phone with a 720p display in 2018. You cannot watch 1080p video on this phone. What? In 2018, you are setting your customers up to get that low for $750. Do you realize there are phones like the OnePlus 6 that are under that price point and that have a 1080p display? There are phones that have a 2K display under that price point. Like, the audacity to just try to save pennies on the dime for Apple and to screw over their consumers so much so that like Steve Jobs would be appalled with this. To be widespread instead of having that one device for everyone, having that innovation. This phones didn't have innovation besides the processor. Again, I wholeheartedly give that processor, but other than that, there was no innovation on the smartphones. Everything that was being talked about was being fluffed up for an hour and 45 minutes. Yes, part of it was a watch, but it was just horrible that they are trying to tell you, oh, it's the best LCD ever. Really? Best LCD on a smartphone? I think that there's been 2K LCDs on a smartphone. And that's another thing that really just upsets me about Apple. Like, where do you get off always saying that this is the best LCD on a smartphone? No, it's not. It cannot be. Why? Because it's a lower resolution. So by default, you just lied to your customers again. Like, people, I swear, like, I would love to go over this with a lawyer, because I'm very good at marketing myself, but the things that Apple says, they should not be able to get away with. They should not be able to get away with in front of a live audience, in front of, this is broadcast to the world. They should not be able to lie this blatantly to their consumers. It is complete BS. It is so wrong. And the fact that just like, this is just appalling that they are lying to their consumers by misleading them, trying to go over this by calling it a liquid retina display, which, what is that, Apple? You don't even know. The iPhone 10 refurbished, that's what I'm going to call this phone. It's the iPhone 10 refurbished. They put a cheaper LCD screen on it. They put bigger bezels on it, and that's what it is. It's the iPhone 10 refurbished. But it's the fact that they are charging $750 for a 720p display phone is just horrible. It really is. Like, you're better off getting one of the cheaper iPhones. The iPhone 8, I would say, is a much better purchase than the iPhone XR. You still get Touch ID, which is still going to be better than Face Unlock. And yes, they did improve Face Unlock. We'll see how that turns out. Look, we're getting ours in 2 weeks, but it really is like, I cannot stand that. Like, I thought they would do $699, right? $699 even. $649 is where they should have gone, but $699 would have been good. But $750 charging for that, lying about the bokeh effect because it cannot be done by its standards because it's software, it's not hardware. And again, just changing so little and making it seem like you're revolutionary, making it seem like, if you want to get completely intoxicated, watch that keynote again and drink every time they say ever. Like, they give themselves a pat on the back so much that it is ridiculous. I am just so freaking annoyed, and it really upsets me that Apple can mislead like this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and feel free to troll and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's great, but it really upset me at those three things specifically. Alright guys, thank you as always so much for watching. Share this with any friends that you think will feel the same way, or that might get pissed off at it and give me a thumbs down, as long as I get the view right. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe up there. Make sure you follow us on social media right here. And of course, check out our latest video up there. And right down here, you're going to find the perfect video for you. Or at least that's what YouTube tells me. Thanks again.